Welcome to Table for 92, element number 58, cerium. It's number 58 because it has exactly 58 protons within its nucleus. For cerium, we're cooking up some more Swedish food. The number of elements discovered in Sweden is truly astonishing, and it wasn't like what happened in the UK, where a lot of times the elements discovered in the UK were really found somewhere else and sent to the UK to be studied. In Sweden, there is just such a natural abundance of minerals that have yielded new elements. 20 of the naturally occurring elements were found in Sweden over the years. It's really amazing. But for cerium, it's really not a good thing if it's found in foods. Usually, if cerium's in foods, it means there's been a horrible nuclear incident of nuclear fission nearby, and the cerium has been released into the soil. So I'm not making radioactive food with cerium in it, so I'm going with another Swedish recipe, Raksmorgus, a wonderful Swedish open-faced sandwich with tiny little shrimp. Cerium is the second of the lanthanide group of chemical elements otherwise known as the rare earth elements, named after lanthanum, the first of the lanthanides. Wow, that almost sounds like something from Game of Thrones. Lanthanum, first of their name. Anyway, while cerium is the second of the lanthanides, it was actually the first to be discovered, and its discovery led to even more elements being found. So it was 1803 in Sweden. Jan Jacob Berzelius, a super famous chemist working with the not as famous Wilhelm Hisinger, was able to isolate impure cerium from ceria, an oxide of cerium. Hisinger was a rich mine owner who liked chemistry and funded Berzelius' research. But interestingly, Berzelius and Hisinger worked on extracting cerium independently in separate labs, and both ended with the same result. They were right about having discovered a new element, but they didn't know they had actually found 3 new elements all mixed up together. This wouldn't be figured out for another 36 years, until another Swedish chemist, Carl Gustav Mosander, figured it out. But a famous German chemist at the same time, Martin Klaproth, also discovered cerium that same year, but it's all about who publishes their discoveries first, so today we remember Berzelius and Hisinger as co-discoverers of cerium. Cerium was named after Ceres, an asteroid that had been discovered a couple years before, and itself was named after the Roman goddess of agriculture. There was actually a lot of this kind of thing going on at the time. Like, coincidentally, while chemists were really starting to figure out how to chemistry, astronomers were getting their astronomy thing on too. A bunch of planets and asteroids and comets would inspire chemists to name new elements after them. You got cerium, you got plutonium, neptunium, and palladium after the asteroid Pallas, but chemists made some mistakes along the way. There was actually an element named Junonium after the asteroid Juno, named for the Roman goddess. Yeah, so Junonium turned out to be cerium that some confused chemists mixed up. I found this funny quote from someone writing in the journal Nature in 1879 after yet another discovered element turned out to be wrong. Quote, "Chemists will have to keep as narrow a watch on these minor elements as our astronomers do upon the minor planets, or we shall not know where we are." It's a little late 19th century science nerd humor for you there. I think it's funny. Pure cerium wouldn't be pulled out of the earth until the right technology came around, though. It was actually 1875 when chemists were able to pass an electric current through molten cerium chloride to isolate the cerium. Cerium in a pure form is a gray metal that tarnishes easily and burns when heated, and interestingly enough, cerium was used as an alloy in cigarette lighters in the flint that actually isn't flint, because other than iron, cerium is the only metal that sparks when struck. Cerium does have other uses though. It's used in catalytic converters in cars, and cerium sulfide has a beautiful red color to it and is used in paints. It's funny though, in the lanthanides group, or the rare earth elements, some of them, they're not rare at all. Like, cerium is pretty common in Earth's crust, almost as common as copper, and way more common than tin or lead. But as I was saying early on about the radiation stuff, it's the isotopes cerium-141 and 144 that are released as fallout from nuclear weapons that we have to worry about. This was studied a lot during the Cold War when, we blew off something like 2,000 different nuclear weapons all around the world. And these radioactive isotopes are released during the explosions, along with a bunch of other terrible stuff, and it gets into the air and the rain and into all the food we like to eat, so nukes are bad. This is one of the meals you could expect to see during fika. In Sweden, it's customary to take like a coffee or tea break from work and socialize with others. Like, it's big. If somebody asks you to fika, you better say yes or they will never invite you again. To recap, lots of elements named after these celestial bodies. Cerium is pretty cool, but, you know, with terrible radioactive isotopes. And, you know, Swedish food is good food. Fika. I don't know if it's customary to put Tabasco on Raksmorgas, but Tabasco makes everything better. That's very good. It's very refreshing. Just another receptacle for Tabasco sauce that I've now discovered, so that's cool. Thank you. See you next time. Please like and subscribe. It's easy. It helps me. Doesn't really help you, but it helps me.